All right, guys, so we're here at property number 2. This is where the cars are that have been sitting the longest time and are definitely packed together the most. And it's probably the most interesting to me because there is just stuff everywhere and cars put in every little corner, so you really have to look and see what's here. So what we're going to do today is just do a walkthrough and show you guys a little more in detail of every car that's in here, because in the last video we just kind of panned through everything. So we're going to show you exactly what's in here and how awesome all of this stuff is as it's found. All right, so we're starting in the back of the building. This building actually used to be a service station. It's a very old building that Larry purchased, put vehicles in, and then he kind of started building around the different areas to close everything in and keep all of his beloved cars indoors. So first thing we have here is actually a Ford Falcon. This car actually is the only car that is Larry's wife's car that she actually owned, and he had in here, and this car is in phenomenal condition overall. It's just dusty basically, but the big thing is it's a two-door Falcon, great for somebody that wants to restore, or if you want to hop it up, it's a great solid base. Now next to it, you guys know, you're probably not even listening, you probably stopped listening to me about the Falcon because you saw the corner of a Mustang. This thing is my favorite muscle car era vehicle that's in the whole entire collection. This is a Mustang Fastback with a 289 that has like basically every option on this car. The car has, we'll open the hood here for you guys. All right, so what's really great about this car, not only is it a Fastback, but is a 289 with like every option. And I say that, I'm saying that word loosely, but all that neat stuff bolted onto the front of the on the front of the engine are great options that are kind of rarely seen, and what makes this car really, really special, I think, on top of it being a Fastback, on top of it being a car that has been sitting for a really long time. This car was parked, as you can see, 1981-82 was the last inspection on this car. So this car has been sitting for quite a long time. Obviously is clean overall. There's a couple little tiny little patches here that were probably done when it was just driving, but overall the car is really clean. The interior's super clean overall. I like the little animal rug there, which is kind of funny. But you got the factory air conditioning set up, which is really cool with the Ford logo in the center. The steering wheel horn button is actually over on the floor. But the cool thing is this car is clocked like 40-some thousand miles, which is kind of explains why the car is so nice. But this is the dream if you're into muscle car stuff. This makes makes me all tingly. All the neat stuff just on the sitting here is really, really great. And this car, we didn't even open the trunk yet. We should see if it's open. Oh, nope, locked. Never mind. But overall, the car is really, really straight, and it's rare to find a car that's this complete, this untouched. And I mean, if you're into muscle cars, this is like the dream. So I really like this car. This is definitely my favorite muscle car out of all the vehicles in this amazing collection. This one's amazing. So behind Mike over here, we have an Olds, big old Olds. Hard to see, four-door hardtop, which is pretty cool. So that's it's pretty neat. So that car's two-tone, you know, with the white roof and that kind of, I don't know if you want to call it aqua or teal or whatever. Then next to it here.
Is that a Rivian?
Yeah. So, I want to talk about big. Buick Riviera. Big old Rivy. So, neat car. Again, this car is overall in good shape, has some body work that was being messed with there, but pretty cool. But overall, I mean, it's not going to light the world on fire, but this is a collectible car just like everything else. But I want to point out like all the amazing, like if you guys are like me and you're eagle-eyed, you're pointing out like old Ford dashes, flipper hubcaps. You know, there's parts everywhere. It's really cool. So we'll spin around here and show you guys. If you are into T-buckets, man, do we have one for you. So this is a super cool T-bucket that is, you know, if you're into the T-bucket thing, this is kind of like picture perfect for that era. Put a big engine in a little car and you know, just have fun. So you could tell this car was probably a running, driving car at one point before it was put away. Larry had this actually in another property that he was renting, and the family found out that the rent was due, and they pulled the car, brought it here. But this car doesn't look like it would take very much to get it going. Now, Gremlins.
Didn't you talk a bunch of crap about a Gremlin in another video?
Shh, we're being positive today, Mike. Gremlins. This is cool because it's a Gremlin X. I don't know what that means, to be honest. I'll be fair with you guys. But hey, this is a Gremlin. Old Gremlin, you either love them or you hate them. I don't want to say I hate them, but they're not my favorite. But it's pretty cool that it has this graphics package on it. Obviously, it's a little more collectible because of that. And a lot of these Gremlins had this neat interior packages that they put in them. So the Gremlin X obviously has, even, you check out the seat, the coat there that matches the car. But really clean, untouched car. Everything's pretty much in here. Rear seats in there. Everything's there. It's got a floor shift on it, which is, you know, pretty cool. So if you're into Gremlins, this thing is probably one of the better, more collectible Gremlins than some of the other ones. So I'm interested to see what this car does when we get this thing up to auction. All right, guys, so this is a 54 Nash Metropolitan. For you guys that saw the first broad overview video, you guys may remember that there was a 34 Ford Tudor sitting in a garage, and there was a hole next to it. Well, in order to get the garage cleaned out and make some space, this cute little guy had to get pulled out of that garage and was brought here to this property. So this car was sitting inside in the house garage for many, many years, and is pretty much all there. The tops, not in the greatest condition, but it's still all there. But what I like is it's filled, and this is the stuff that's amazing. Look at all this NOS Ford parts. This car's filled with parts. So this has got old decals, Ford decals. I don't know the part numbers right offhand, but original NOS Ford parts decals. There's parts in it. You know, every one of these cars is filled with parts, but this car overall is pretty complete, other than all the parts that are stashed in it. Definitely a project, but it's nice to find a Nash convertible, which is very unusual to find. And this is a sweetheart of a car for anybody that's into Nashes. So next, we're going to swing over here to the Corvair. You guys may have noticed in the original video, there's a lot of Corvairs. For whatever reason, I think Larry picked different types of cars that he liked, and he purchased groups of them to get the most neat ones. So here we have a Corvair station wagon. Pretty unusual if you guys are into Corvairs, you know anything about them. Station wagons are a little more difficult to find, and this one here is buried, but looks to be pretty complete. We won't know till we get some of these bigger cars that are kind of jammed up next to it out of place. But overall, car looks fairly solid. All right, so over here you see we actually have a 41 Plymouth. Now, this is pretty cool. Sometimes the Plymouth guys aren't as excited about in this era of cars, but this is a two-door, it's a coupe, and it looks like it was kind of like street rotted or hot rodded a little bit. You may notice it has some wire wheels there on it. Sits a little lower from what I can tell with how it's sitting. Looks like it's sprayed in red oxide primer. The car's covered. We don't know what we'll find under it, in it, under the hood. Might have something kind of cool. Maybe there's a Hemi. We don't know, but we go to dig it out, we will definitely figure that out. So let's go over here. Oh, by the way, it's 32 Ford. You guys might like that. I like it. This is a 32 Ford coupe, obviously 5-window coupe, channeled a lot, and sits nice and low with the Pontiac taillights. Custom roll pan there that's kind of like welded underneath. This car obviously was built, you know, back in the day. It looks like an old drag car. What really struck me about this car that's interesting is this has an old square roll bar. So we'll pan up here, and you can see there's like a little square roll bar in there. There's a little gas tank in the back. We can open this door too and show you guys. Look how channeled this thing is. It's so awesome.
I thought the Pagoda City Coupe was channeled.
This is channeled pretty hard, and it's crusty, but it's awesome. The car is rough, but hey, it's a 32 Ford. Who doesn't love a 32 Ford? So from what I understand, Larry bought this car a very long time ago. This is probably one of the older cars that he has in his collection as far as the time he's owned them. From what we can kind of gather from the family, this car he may have had at his parents' house many, many years ago. And basically, when he moved that car, then he moved it to here in this building, and it's been sitting ever since, I think since like the 80s or something like that. But this car is basically, I think, how he found it. He bought the car. We have some really amazing, makes me so psyched, these old photos of when he bought the car and it had no engine in it. And now the car has a Olds J2 sitting there in it. So channeled hard, the flat firewall. It's got all the right stuff. It's crusty, it's ugly, but hey, it's a 32 Ford. They can't all be diamonds in the rough. It exists. That's the biggest thing. So it's great that this stuff's going to get saved. So this is the 32 Ford that is an old hot rod, might have raced. So what we're gonna do, this is the first like room. We're gonna walk into the next room, and if you think this was a lot of stuff, you haven't seen anything yet. All right, hey guys. We're moved to a different part of the building, and we show you this little nook here. So this was a good example of a section that used to be like outdoors that some of these cars were, and Larry took the time to actually close everything in to get them under cover, and we now have some really well preserved cars that are stashed in here. So first, we have a 37 Tudor. This car is a Deluxe, so it's got all the awesome stuff. Obviously in the interior, it's got the radio with the little V8 that spins when you move the knob for the radio, the optional. It's got the clock in the glove box. This car is like super complete, nice black. It looks like, or actually, I'm sorry, it's green. Keep forgetting, it's so dirty. The green, like a dark green. The engine's in it. It's all there, missing like headlights, which I think are somewhere else in the building. But overall, the car is super clean. Again, this looks like one that you could drive. From what everybody told me in the family, this car was actually running and driving in like recent history. So I'm sure it wouldn't take too much to get this one going. So next to it, we have a 60 Chrysler. And this is one of the big guys with the fins that we all love. Over stylized as the Chrysler stuff was in the 50s, in the mid 50s to early 60s, and
77 is the inspection.
Yeah. So one kind of interesting thing that Larry did around this property was that he was working on some of these cars, but he actually, like most of these cars are actually locked, and there's like a giant box of keys with like hardly any notes. So we have to help with the family and get everything unlocked and figured out with all of that. But you can just see, just looking in these cars, how awesome the dash is. Oh, this one was open. Made a liar out of me. Go ahead, open that door up, see how great it is. But look at the gauge panel, the gauge cluster in these, so cool. So obviously this one, you know, some of the pieces are pulled out of the dash. But what's really great is how clean this car is.
Minus the
Yeah, lots of mouse poop. Taillights on these are like one of my favorite designs, with how the fins come together and the taillight V's in, much like some of the Packards of the similar era that had those. These are really great for customs, but this car is like custom right from the factory, which is awesome. I love the trunk lid on these. And this car, from what I could see, is really solid. It has a little bit of surface rust in the back here at the trunk.
A little bit on the top.
Yeah, but like that's like cool age.
Patina.
We won't use patina, it makes people mad, but yes, that. Should we open the hood on this?
Yeah, sure.
I just realized we didn't open, I've never opened the hood. Moved the bicycle and, oh yeah, super cool Columbia bicycle. That's like original paint and really nice. Move that out of the way. And my favorite part of this bicycle, look at the speedometer. Even Stuart Warner speedometers were cool back then. Awesome. This would be an ultimate swap meet hauler.
Yeah, you can put a little basket on it.
All right. Ground's a little wet. Okay. So let's see if we can get this guy figured out here.
All right, did you figure out how to open the hood?
I did. It actually has a hood pull on the inside. This has been sitting since '77. So, get the hood open. And just like pretty much every car that Larry had, it's like a car that was running and driving, pulled the battery out and parked it. So everything's here. I don't see any major like rot or issues on this. So this is I mean, if you want a car that just looks cool driving down the road and you don't even need to do anything but like lower it, this is the car. This is one of many, but this is one of the cars. So awesome, awesome car. So if you guys, I don't know if you guys know these era Fords. Another neat thing. It's a little nerdy Ford stuff. Turn the hood emblem. There's our flathead V8, obviously. All there. This one still has the battery in it, so I think he probably was driving that thing reasonably long ago. All right. Move our way back.
Valiant station wagon.
Valiant station wagon. Cool.
Seafoam green.
Seafoam green. Probably locked. Making a lot. Yes.
Oh, the first time you were actually right. Raccoon.
Oh, look at that. Cool plaid interior in this thing. It's neat. So, really, really neat color.
Another Dodge monstrosity.
Yeah, so this is, I have to look at my notes here because this is way outside my comfort zone. Oh yeah, 59 Dodge Coronet. Big
car.
Big car. But again, like the style on this thing is so killer. And let's see if, so I think the family is going to be auctioning off a lot of these cars. These 50s cars kind of in one shot. So if you guys are interested in the 50s stuff, you know, like these are all complete cars. If you want a really killer 50s space age, as I call it, car, all these cars will be available for sale at an upcoming auction. So what do we got?
61 Corvette wagon.
Oh, another Corvette wagon. This one.
Also a seafoam green.
Yeah, look at this.
Dude.
I'm noticing a theme. I like Larry's style.
Wagons, seafoam green.
Yeah, I like Larry's style. I also am a fan of that color. This one's open. Red interior. It's interesting.
Shag carpet.
Yeah, floor shift.
I don't think those buckets go to that.
Yeah, I don't know. They look like T-Bird.
Yeah, just regular buckets.
What are those hubcaps in the back? Valiant hubcaps. Anyways, nice solid car. Lakewood Corvair station wagon is just it's a neat little car. I mean,
Rivers are so rad.
Yeah, this car's just got good style. All right, so we got another Corvair. This one's not quite as in great of condition, but it's all here. It's got a broken windshield. I don't know when that happened, but the car overall, this one's locked. I mean, what? Lock the Corvair. Somebody might want it. Anyways, Corvair, what my favorite one we're standing near in this section, 34.
Before we get to that one, let's look at this one.
Oh, this is amazing. We can't make this stuff up. So we have a 60 Comet that used to sit like outside in this area, and Larry started building everything in, and I guess he didn't feel like moving this. I'm not sure what happened, but basically he like built walls around this.
Foot there.
And there's like
Nothing. I think that fin's touching the wall.
Yeah, there's like
Nah.
I don't know why there's hay here. We're not in a barn, but I don't know. Anyways, like right here, that's all we got. That much room. Crazy.
Now back to your favorite.
Yeah, so anyways, I don't know how the heck this thing's getting out of here. We're gonna have to pull it completely sideways to get it out. 34, Ford 5 window, old hot rod.
Old something.
Hot rod, done, it's lived a hard life. This thing is the epitome of like sketchiness for early hot rods. This is not how your drag link is supposed to look.
Uphill with an upside down.
Yeah,
box.
I don't know what's going on here, but this frame's all correct.
That's an undermount box.
Yeah. So you got this hood, it's got a hood scoop that's been molded into it. It's pretty cool. I can imagine at some point this car was a really neat show car.
The body is welded.
Yeah, it's like channeled and welded into the frame, which was a really common thing. You can see the cowl vent was filled, but not done very well. The reason there's dirt stuck in there is because that's a low spot. So the dirt's sitting in the low spot where they didn't fill it very well. But the really cool thing about this car is it's got like the neat old bucket seats in it. It's got the old 34 dash, but look at how many layers of paint. So if you look at the dash, look at the so around the edges of the car, there's purple. So at some point this car was painted purple, but there's also like tan and white. There's like a gray or black.
Door jambs are purple.
Yeah, but look at the wood that was channeled down.
That'll work.
Yeah. Neat car, but you could tell it was actually like probably a finished car at some point in its life. And we'll get the trunk open then. So one nice feature, neat thing on this car that really spoke to me was it's got the old tunneled, Frenched in, tunneled antenna that's in it. That's really cool. Again, Pontiac taillights. And the finished out, you see where they had a gas tank back there. The wood paneling stole from the house.
This is like early mini trucker stuff.
Before that, hot rods, man. So this is cool. It's just, you could tell this car was a finished, show car, a really neat hot rod that was running around. It was probably, redone a bunch of times. It's got like a small block Ford in it, so I don't think that's probably what was in this car when it was originally built. Hard to say, but yeah. So now we have a little Maverick here. Again, with that bluish tone to it. Looks pretty decent from what I could see. It's like jammed into a Nash that's sitting here. Like literally, like there's like a foot between them. It's crazy. So there's another Nash tucked in there, next to a big old Caddy. Come on. There we go. Ooh.
The battery is.
Yeah, that battery has seen better days. Ouch. This is why you normally take the batteries out of these things. But look at that beautiful Cadillac engine.
Beautiful blue valve.
Oh my God, I want this for a hot rod.
I just want the car.
Yeah, the car is killer. Looks all complete. The air cleaner's off of it. Who knows if it's around. We don't know if the engine's stuck or tight, but it looks like a clean car. I mean, overall, looks pretty neat. I think this car will be a good one. I mean, anything that's Cadillac is, even when it's a four-door, they're still really great. This car, again, sitting since '73. We noticed that Larry bought a lot of cars in the mid to late 70s. He was buying like crazy because I think the market was actually really low, and a lot of these cars he bought for a song, and it was a good investment, obviously. Show his thought to buy this stuff and put it away is, really was a good investment. So. Yeah, you guys probably saw this in the main video we did on the overview. We talked about it a little more in depth in that video, but we have a '54 Corvette. We believe is a original red, Sportsman red, I believe it was, that they supposedly made only 100 of. That's what the rumors are. If it's an original red. Now, what's interesting about this car is it was swapped with a V8. So it's been sitting since, I gotta refresh my memory here, 68. This car has been sitting. And now think about this, 68, this car came with a V6 as new, and it's got a V8 swapped in it. It came with a straight 6 new, and it was swapped with a V8. So really cool. I think we ran the numbers and it was like a 56 or 57, somewhere 58, somewhere in there, V8. So this thing was probably swapped when the car was, less than 10 years old. Somebody hot rodded and swapped the V8 into it. It's got a floor shift trans in it. And Yeah, really, really neat car. I mean, this, if you're a Corvette guy, this is it. This is the bee's knees, because this car is, as it's been sitting here for, you know, a very, very long time, and it's super solid. So this will be one that, again, if you guys didn't notice or watch the other video, this is going to be pulled out and sold in the first sale, which will have the information down in the description below. You can learn more about the auctioneer, and also you can learn about the date, and you can follow along on that. But that is the Corvette. It's amazing. It gave me shivers when I first saw it, because it's like unbelievable. So way behind this nonsense, we can't get in here, but there is a super cool little 31 Model A coupe sitting in there. Which looks to me like original black paint that's kind of like crackly and falling off, but it's like, as far as like neat old cars go, like the paint's really perfect for a 30s car if you're into that old weathered look. This car is missing the fenders. It's all stock otherwise, but this car would be great. I think this car would be great for a hot rod, because it's a little crusty, so it'll be a lot of work to restore, but it's solid enough that you could turn it into an old hot rod pretty easily. So this would be a good candidate. Really great car. Obviously, I have a soft spot for 3031 coupes because I got one. All right, so for air-cooled fans, we got something for you. 66, 67 Volkswagen Bugs. These things are kind of oddballs in the collection because there's not a lot of foreign cars, mostly American, but these cars are like perfect. I mean, again, Volkswagen stuff, this is what you want. Something that's dry, it's stored indoors. It's really in great shape. These cars are all pretty optioned out with like little accessories and stuff, like the visors and the little finger scratch guards. They have a lot of the little VW accessories that are really cool. And of course they're locked, but you guys could see they're all there. The interior's there, everything's there. These cars are, you know, get in them and go. And you guys know Volkswagen engines, if you could break them free, they will run. So I guarantee these cars could be made to run pretty easy. And the fact that they're the 60s style, they're not into the Super Beetles, these still, you could kind of backdate them to look like the earlier ones, lower them, give them that kind of cow look, and these would be really great for that. So neat to see a couple little Volkswagens, air-cooled Volkswagens hiding here. So another Corvair. You guys are probably tired of hearing about them, but there's more. This is another Corvair.
Green.
It's not green. It's like a gold color or something, copper color, whatever. Anyways,
The major.
probably the most oddball is a Renault. So a little, what year is this thing again? I'm not up on my
66.
Renaults. 66 Renault, 4-door. As much as I'd like to try and sell you guys on this car, it's a 66 4-door Renault. If you like oddballs, it's cool. Otherwise, but it's tucked way back in the corner. It's got a 78 registration sticker on it, so this thing's been sitting for quite a long time. But again, it looks solid. I'm sure there's some of you Renault fans out there and fall in love. All right, nearing the end of our tour here at this building, there is hiding here an Oldsmobile that is, what year is it? I think it's, yeah, we don't even know yet.
It's a 4-door.
Yeah, it's 4-door. It's like a 30s, but look at the grille. That's like amazing on this car. So we have a 30s. I think it's like, my guess is like 33-ish. I'm sure somebody will correct us in the video that's Olds expert, but early 30s, early to mid 30s. Pretty sure it's early 30s, 32, 33, 34. Oldsmobile. The grille, you know, which is the money shot on these things, is actually in really nice shape. The car overall, even though it's like full of stuff and it's been a litter box for some raccoon friends, it's actually in pretty nice shape. So this car, I'm sure once we get this thing cleaned out, pulled out, it's going to be a pretty neat car and would be great for a driver or possibly for something to be a full restoration, because you do not see these 30s Oldsmobiles like the Fords that were much more higher produced. Oldsmobiles, they didn't survive and they were a little more expensive, I think, so you didn't see them as often. So this is really neat. And finally, everybody needs a Nash, another Nash. So got another Nash hiding here that's, I think it's a two-tone, is it?
Yeah, it is. It is black and white.
Yeah, so this thing's really cool. It's jammed in here pretty tight. I think Larry started buying Nash Metropolitans because they were small and he could find corners to stuff them in, because That's what you do when you have so much awesome stuff. You just start buying smaller things to fit smaller spaces. But car's a little, has some rough areas in it on the trim and stuff like that, but the car is complete. So if you're looking for a car to like restore, it's best to buy one that's like complete like this and has all the parts, because it's going to make it a lot easier for you. If you don't specialize in Nashes, you have to buy every little bit and piece. So buying a car like this to restore is really great because it's all there, it's solid. You do your restoration, you keep all your parts and restore all the little pieces. So it's really awesome. All right, guys, so that was a walkthrough of building number 2. I hope you guys enjoyed all of the stuff that we found in here and all of the amazing vehicles that were laying in every corner. It's just mind-blowing how much stuff is here and how great it's all been preserved. So if you guys want to follow along with all the auctions that are going on and have a chance to buy one of these vehicles or even some of the parts, we're going to drop a link down below for the auctioneer's website, which you guys can find all the dates. And as we start pulling these cars out of here and putting them at the auction site, you guys can see the preview photos and also some of the preview dates, so you can go and actually look at the cars, check them out yourself, and maybe you can own one of these awesome cars. Thanks for watching, and make sure you subscribe to the channel, because next Sunday what we're going to show you is the cars or car, which one, that I pick for IronTrap Garage. Thanks, guys. Catch you later.